All right. You are live. Drinks.
Hello. Okay.
Drinks.
Drinks.
Shots, 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 shots.
So, hello. I am Teri, your resident bartender. I am not trained. So yeah, a few disclaimers before we get started. First of all, most important rule, no spoilers. This is an Owl House themed drinks panel, but I haven't seen any of season 3. I'm sure there's some people online who haven't seen any of it and are just here for the alcohol. I'm with you guys. So we are not going to put any spoilers in. All these drinks are themed based on season 1. My lovely assistant, Amy.
More ears.
Going
I'm
to be
not in
helping
the chat.
me. Yes, she's going to be reading the chat because there's a lag and it's very distracting, and also I'm going to be looking at stuff, and so she will be reading your questions in the chat. So yes, I'm not a trained bartender. How this came about is that in virtual kanji Geeks at Home, year 1, we had someone who was doing a panel about drinks, and we said in advance, where's the list? Where's the recipe list so we can be prepared to make the drinks along with you? And we didn't receive that. And then during the panel, it was a very good panel, but it was also, now I'm going to make this drink using candied pansy syrup that I made myself from pansies in my garden, which was not very helpful to me, who was sitting there with my bottle of bourbon waiting to make a cocktail. So this year I volunteered to run a drinks panel. And I'm not trained, but I've been having a lot of fun becoming an amateur mixologist for you guys. I don't do anything by half measures, so I have prepared 5 drinks for us. And also I have learned some new skills as part of preparing for this panel. They're all character themed based on a different character from the Owl House. And so without further ado, I'm going to get started. But first I'm going to make myself bigger on my video so that I can see what I'm doing. Oh, I don't know what I just did. Okay, never mind. I can be tiny. So, for those of you who have not seen Owl House, I will be doing a bit of a description of the characters before I make the drinks. Another disclaimer. Please drink responsibly. Kanji is not responsible for anything that you get up to tonight as a result of drinking too much alcohol. There are 9 ounces of liquor across these 5 drinks, so do be careful. Maybe pick the drinks that you think will be the most up to your taste instead of trying to drink them all. My lovely assistant is going to be splitting them with me so that neither of us get alcohol poisoning. And also, I will be posting these recipes afterwards so that you can make them later.
The chair got stolen.
The assistant's chair was stolen by a cat. It's typical. So, our first drink, which I will be making in a martini glass, the glasses are all somewhat themed as well, more to the drink than to the character, is going to be Lily's drink. We are calling it the Overachiever. For those of you who are not familiar with the show, Lily is sort of a bad guy character, but also a sympathetic bad guy, a bit intense, and just wants to do a really good job. So she's my favorite character. No, not gonna lie. And this drink is fairly intense. For those of you who don't like strong alcohol, you might not like this one. It's loosely based on a Manhattan. And I have prepared my ingredients in advance, partly because I've always wanted to be one of those people at a baking show who's like, and here's my minced ginger that is just magically minced for me, so I don't have to spend 10 minutes on TV mincing it. But also because I wanted to not be pouring drinks while talking to you. That seemed like a recipe for me to lose track of everything that I'm doing. But to start with, so we are going to take 1 ounce of whiskey. This drink is pretty easy to make. We just add 1 ounce of whiskey to the glass. Next, we are going to take our gin. We're gin connoisseurs over here. I recommend Hendrick's, generally speaking. Any expensive gin is going to be fine. Just don't buy cheap gin. Never buy cheap gin. The whiskey, I'm just using Crown Royal. Put my empty cups over here. Also, virtual console, I can just lick my fingers and no one will get ill from my drink. So, The last ingredient, sorry, not the last ingredient, but the next ingredient here is an ounce of vermouth. This is where I started this cocktail because when I thought of Lily, I thought of vermouth for some reason. I needed vermouth to be part of her drink. It's sophisticated, but still very alcoholic. So we'll just add that. There's a drink called the Marksmith that is very similar to this drink. I think it's bourbon, gin, and vermouth. It's also very tasty and very alcoholic. And then the last thing, these are the ingredients we're going to use, by the way. Enjoy my lovely display for you. In case you thought we weren't intense. Ooh. And the last thing is a dash of bitters, which the recipe didn't call for, but I felt was appropriate for Lily. It's just a little bit bitter. So we're just going to add a dash of bitters. I'm going to put it over here. So yes, these ingredients are in order. We've used the whiskey, the gin, and the vermouth and the bitters. You have to top this drink off with a large ice cube. Mine are shaped like brains. Fills up the glass nicely, cools the drink off nicely. And then for garnish, we're going to do a fancy cherry. I didn't want to use maraschino cherries because they seemed too bright and cheery for Lily's character. I learned about these expensive dark cherries called Luxardo cherries that are alcoholic, but I didn't want to pay for them because they're hella expensive. So these are just a dark kind of cherry from a can. But look at how classy it looks. This is the classiest drink of the night, folks. I'm going to pass this off to my assistant to enjoy while she continues to read your comments. Woohoo! And saves me some of it because this is one of my favorite drinks.
And my commentary will get better and better as the panel goes on.
Are there any questions or comments in the chat that I should address?
Someone did say that the mic is a little bit distorted, but I don't think we can fix that because we're using a built-in iPhone mic.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know what to do about that.
Maybe moving some of these other electronics away from it might help.
Sure.
Probably not, but we can try.
You go ahead and do that. While I start in on the next drink.
This is
No, you can just move that. So, our next drink, I'm going to put in a champagne glass. This drink is going to be Amity themed. For those of you who don't watch the show, Amity is a student at a magic school. She's the same age as the main character in the show. And she has bright turquoise hair. So this drink is mostly color themed. So we are going to start with 1 ounce of white rum, clear rum, any kind of clear rum. I'm using coconut rum because that's what I happen to have on hand. Malibu would also be delicious, or you can just use Blanco rum. But the darker rum will change the color. And the color is what we're aiming for here. And the next ingredient I'm going to add is 1/2 ounce of blue curacao. Ooh, look at how shiny that color is. It's like a chemistry experiment in a bad science fiction movie. And then we need some pineapple juice, which is over here because I haven't opened it yet. I should probably shake it as well. Oh, our clock's going to go off. It neighs like horses. When you hear it, don't be alarmed. I brought the shot glass over here. Where did it go? No, oh, this one. This is what I'm looking for. So we are going to add 2 ounces of pineapple juice. Ooh, look at that color. And then I was finding, at least with the last batch, yeah, it's going to do the same. The 2 ounces isn't quite enough to get the color the right shade for her hair, so just throw in a bit more pineapple juice. get it nice and turquoise. This drink is called something like the Turquoise Beach, by the way, which might help my much funnier than I am assistant has renamed it to the
Island Deep.
Island de Blight, because Amity's last name is Blight. No, it was
Tropical Deep Light.
Isles de Blight, because it's the boiling isles. And then we're going to add half an ounce of lime juice. It just really cuts through the sweetness of the pineapple juice and gives it a much nicer flavor.
That was lime?
Yes, that was lime.
Okay.
And then I'm going to throw in some ice into that one as well.
Oh, sorry, I don't have the smaller ice cubes yet.
Excuse the noise for a second while my... Oh, apparently we have pineapple-shaped ice cubes that I did not know about. Ta-da!
My second online handle is the pineapple, so I have a lot of novelty pineapple things.
She does. It's true. So there you go. The Isles de Blight. And then, because we were having fun, Amity's character, you can see some brown roots at the base of her hair color. And we discovered that if you throw in just a little bit of grenadine, just a splash, because you don't want it to change the flavor too much. The grenadine is very sweet. But if you just put in a tiny bit of grenadine, it goes to the bottom, and then it creates a bit of this like ombre roots look at the bottom of your glass. So there you go. That's my artistic flair. I don't have an artistic flair. That was a joke. Or maybe I do, but only when it comes to mocktails and cocktails. It needs another ice cube. Otherwise, it's delicious. I think I'm making pretty good time here. Actually, I need this for the next drink too. My helpful assistant is not watching the chat, so if you have questions at this moment, I don't have answers to them. I just don't know what the questions are.
There haven't been any questions yet.
So the next drink we're gonna make is a mocktail. So, you know, now we've used like 4 ounces of alcohol already in the first 2 drinks. So I wanted to give you guys back some hydration. And this drink will be based on the main character, whose name is Luz, because I just could not imagine making a alcoholic cocktail for Luz. She's too bright and cheerful and young. It didn't seem appropriate. So we are going to start with about half a cup of any red juice. This is guava juice, but I think any other red juice would mostly work as well. We're going to add a little bit of grenadine, and that is because we are going to layer this drink, which is a skill I learned for this panel. And the grenadine, as you saw in the last drink, makes it a little bit heavier and a little bit higher sugar content, which just helps with the whole layering process. I'm gonna need a spoon anyway. All of our spoons are dirty. I mean clean, but in the dishwasher. Stir that grenadine in because it will sit at the bottom if you don't. And then we're going to pour this into a cup. Now I'm using a very tall skinny cup, as you can see, and that is mostly because of the layering. If you use a big wide cup, the layering takes a little bit of room to work, and so your layer will be thin compared to what you maybe would expect. So the taller and skinnier the cup is, it just gives it a bit more time to work. All right, I'm going to rinse that out so I can use the same thing for the next layer. So for the next layer, we're going to start with about half a cup of pineapple juice. That was about a tablespoon of grenadine that I added to that half cup of guava juice, by the way. But I'm going to make kind of a scant cup of pineapple juice.
Did you shake that enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I shook it before I made the last drink.
You want to shake it again? That looks very warm.
It's fine.
Okay.
I'm going to do sort of a scant cup of pineapple juice because I am going to top it up with just a little bit of, I decided lemon instead of lime. With just a little bit of lemon juice. Mostly, again, to cut the sweetness. This drink is quite sweet if you don't add some citrus to it. So, just going to top it up a bit. Actually, I probably want a bit more than that. And then I'm going to also add a little bit of ginger beer. Now, ginger beer, if you had asked me a few months ago if I liked ginger beer, I would have said absolutely not. But then we were out at a restaurant and we ordered, my assistant ordered a cocktail that had a ginger beer and it smelled good, so I tried it and they told us it was because they used this ginger beer, Fever Tree. If you like ginger beer normally, go for using normal ginger beer. But this one is much lighter and citrusier. It doesn't taste like flat ginger ale the way I find that most ginger beers do, in my opinion. Where is our bottle opener? There is one. A fancy kitty bottle openers. Gonna take it over here so that I don't accidentally knock over anything.
The kitty bottle opener was too dark against your shirt.
Oh, okay. Hold on. You can show this maybe. So yeah, if you're like me and you don't like ginger beer, I recommend trying Fever Tree. If you love ginger beer, then you're fine. So just stale. Kitty. We have a black one and a green one because we have 2 cats and our mom thought that was cute. So then I'm just going to top this up a little bit, again, with ginger beer. Just add a little bit more lightness to it. We'll need the ginger beer for the next drink, so don't worry about it being open and not drunk.
Your husband's stolen by
as well.
a different cat now.
Double check my recipe, make sure I haven't missed any steps. All right, so with respect to layering, the internet will tell you to use the back of a spoon against the side of the cup and pour over that. What you're looking for is a slow stream of liquid that will land on top gently so that it will float and not create any sort of current. I actually found it was easier to use the front of the spoon so that the liquid would pool a little bit before dribbling off. And the trick is mostly to go fairly slowly. So let's see if I can be patient. This is what I mean about it takes it a little bit for the layer to start forming.
I'm quivering with anticipation.
Are you making a Clue reference?
No, it's Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh. It's Tim Curry. Okay, it might just not feel like layering today, which is kind of disappointing.
Dan says that's what Luz is known for, her patience.
Yes. Well. All right, so probably what I should have done there, I did manage to get some drinks that had a good layer on them. This one's not cooperating with me too much today. It's kind of, you can kind of see that it's ombre there, but the layers aren't very distinct. And that's probably because the liquid is dropping too far into this cup. I should have put the spoon down a bit further. But yes, lessons learned in creating layer drinks. My assistant had to drink many versions of this one before we found an ingredient mixture that would work well as well. You want a high density one on the bottom and low density on the top. And the higher the sugar content is, the higher the density, generally speaking. Carrot juice layered pretty well, but was mostly disgusting, so we didn't use that. And then you're going to want some ice in that one too, because it'll be pretty sweet otherwise. I mean, it's sort of, it's not doing it.
It looks pretty good in like the light, like from this angle.
Maybe I'll try again at the end if we have time.
Oops. Putting ice cubes in like that definitely didn't help.
Okay. You're going to leave some ice cubes for the next drink.
Oh, that's true. The big ice cubes will fit
No,
any of those
I was
glasses.
just going to use normal ice cubes for that one.
Well,
Careful when you're dropping in the ice cubes into the layer drink too. I mean, obviously if you succeed at getting the layer, because the ice will cut right through the layers and then it'll ruin it. So I made that mistake a couple times. I was like, it's so beautifully layered. I'm going to take a picture. Wait, I'll put some ice in it. Ruin the layer. All right, we're doing pretty good for time. So does anyone have any comments, questions?
Nope, they just want the next drink.
Oh, yes. So this drink also was based on a drink called the Revitalizer, which was the other reason that I kind of thought of Lou's. It was sort of ginger beer, carrot juice, and pineapple juice.
Sorry.
We needed more ice. The ice machine is kind of loud. And so I thought that was also appropriate for Lou's. She's very high energy. And it's obviously not the same ingredients, but.
Oh,
Did we come up with a name for that one? It was something sunrise. But Vitality Sunrise or something like that. The names are actually all in the panel description. I just don't remember what they are.
there goes the horses.
There's the horses we warned you about. All right, so this next drink, I'm making two of because we discovered this drink in our research for this panel, and we like it so much that neither one of us wants to share. So this drink is Ida's drink. I started with the idea of apple blood, but I really was resisting the idea of making it apple because, first of all, apples don't have blood, so who knows what the hell apple blood is? And second, apple, it just seemed too obvious to make an apple flavored drink called apple blood. So the only thing that really stuck was the red color. Ida reminded me of tequila, so I wanted to make a tequila-based drink for Ida that was red. And when I Googled that, I discovered a drink called El Diablo, which I have renamed to be the female version. Yeah, it's delicious. So it's just going to be part of our cocktail repertoire from now on. So you start with 1 ounce of tequila for each drink. Like I said, Ida reminded me of tequila, sort of like Lily reminded me of vermouth. Don't ask me how I make these associations because I can't tell you. The Amity one is one you get on like beaches in the Bahamas, I'm pretty sure, which also not exactly appropriate for Amity, but appropriate for her age. The next ingredient is creme de cassis, which is something that I didn't really know anything about before I found this recipe, but it's blackberry liqueur. They say that you can substitute Chambord, which is raspberry liqueur, but Chambord is very sweet compared to the creme de cassis. There's quite a sour note to it, which just really adds more to the flavor. So I am told that it carried at Lickbo. We did have to look for a few stores here in Alberta that before we found it.
I'm interrupting you for 2 seconds. Thank you so much, Mia, for the donation.
So that's where the red color is going to come from. And it's a bit lighter in alcohol content. It's sort of a cordial. And then the next thing you're going to add is 1/2 ounce of lime. Sorry, and it was 1 ounce of tequila and 1/2 ounce of the creme de cassis. And 1/2 ounce of lime. I should have told everyone to prepare their citrus juice in advance. Now, I happen to know that these cups are pretty much exactly the right size for what I'm looking for. The next ingredient is our ginger beer, so I'm just going to top these glasses up. But the recipe calls for sort of 3 to 4 ounces of ginger beer, depending on your taste. I find that 4 is a bit too much. It gets a bit too gingery, and I can't taste the tequila anymore, which I like tasting the tequila. So I usually go with about 3. But yeah, like I said, I've tried making these drinks enough now that I know that if I just kind of fill them up, that's about the right amount of ginger beer. Look at how pretty they are. Don't they just remind you of Ida, the owl lady? So again, for those of you who don't watch the show, Ida the Owl Lady is an older, slightly acerbic witch who takes in Luz when she gets lost in her world. And she's not exactly what you would necessarily call great mom material, but she cares a lot, and she gets better as the series goes on. At being a mom, not at being a character. She's a great character the whole way through. So then I just added a bit of ice to that one as well. All of these kind of need ice just to cut the alcohol flavor a little bit.
Yeah. This one's the best.
Yeah, this one it's really delicious. We were impressed. Oh, I didn't even flip over my list. Yeah. I've made these drinks enough times that apparently I don't need the recipes anymore. Also, I measured all the ingredients beforehand. So yes, this drink is delicious. I didn't change the recipe. This is basically what the recipe is. Again, the ginger beer you choose will change the flavor profile a little bit. So the Fever Tree makes it quite bright and gingery. If you want something that's a bit darker and sweeter, more, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, wintry, I guess. Like a bit of a deeper flavor, you can use a more traditional ginger beer. The Fever Tree is not an alcoholic ginger beer. I know some of them are, but I would recommend not. And then my last drink, which I feel kind of guilty being at the last drink, given that I'm only halfway through my panel. I fully expected that it would take me longer to do this, but I guess I prepped too much.
Oh, the spoilers list doesn't have the amount. Someone's asking for the full recipes.
Yes, I will send the full recipes out. I didn't want to put the full recipes on just because that was going to make it a bit too I don't know, easy for you guys to do it in advance, I guess. I'm not sure why I didn't just put... So there's an ingredients list on the panel description, and then there's a spoilers list, which tells you which ingredients go with which drinks in case you wanted to kind of look through them and figure out which ones you wanted to make for yourself. I didn't put the amounts on either of those lists, but I will get the full recipes out to you guys. So the last drink is going to be in my congee cup, which you will be able to see better once I fill it with alcohol. I'm going to make this one as a double because I want it to fill up the glass. And one is not really enough to fill up the glass. It's just a bit too big. So I'm going to give you the recipe for a single, and then when you see me doing it twice, it's because I'm making a double. So for the King one, so King is Ida's pet demon. And he wants everyone to believe that he is very fearsome, but he's also super cute and adorable. For those of you who are watching The Masquerade, which, by the way, was amazing. You should go see it if you didn't. The little kid in the Owl House one was dressed as King. That's why, you dress your kids as him because he's cute and small. But he wants people to believe that he's fierce. He's called King because he's the king of demons. And so I wanted this drink to seem hardcore, but actually be fairly sweet and delicious and something that, someone would drink at a party in university as their first drink ever. Because to me, it seemed like King would want to look really hardcore, but not actually be that hardcore. Some people disagreed with that. Some people said it should be the opposite, that the drink should look really cute, but actually be hardcore. But the thing about King is that he's not actually as hardcore as he wants people to think he is. He's sweet and adorable, and he just, really wants to be taken seriously and respected. The other headcanon that my assistant came up with while we were creating these drinks is that King always orders a Manhattan and then Ida doctors it because she knows that he would actually like a Manhattan, but she wants him to think that he's drinking a Manhattan. I also really like that headcanon. So this drink is loosely based on a Manhattan. We are going to start with bourbon. So this drink is also fairly hardcore. We're going to start with 2 ounces of bourbon.
Make it double.
Yes, make it double. Thank you, Team Rocket. I'll turn it around so the kanji is visible as the glass fills up. You'll see the logo. So yeah, we start with 2 ounces of bourbon, and then we're going to add 1 ounce of peach schnapps. By the way, I also wanted this drink to be pretty clear because when you make a Manhattan normally, the drink is fairly clear, and so I wanted it to still look like a Manhattan when I was done. But there is, when you Google peach Manhattan, there is a delicious looking recipe online called a bourbon smash, which I'm probably going to need to try. Sorry, a bourbon peach smash, which I'm probably going to need to try come like next fall because it sounded delicious. But you use real peaches in it, and so it really changes the opacity of the liquid. And then the next thing we're going to add is half an ounce of maple syrup. That's right, you heard me. One of my friends who actually is training to be a mixologist suggested that I should turn this into a maple syrup beforehand to make the drink a little bit maple simple syrup to blend the drink a little bit better. But I'm way too lazy for that. So instead it's just maple syrup. And the last thing we're going to add is just a little bit of lemon juice. Again, mostly just because this drink is now very sweet, and the lemon juice helps kind of cut that a little bit. It does add a little bit to the opacity as well, but it's not really the end of the world.
Now we can't see kanji.
Because that maple syrup is at the bottom, you are going to want to give it a little bit of a stir. I wanted one of my green ones. And I would give it a stir before you add the ice. But the other thing that this drink needs is water to open up the flavors, which is why making a maple simple syrup probably would be a better idea. But again, I'm too lazy. So instead, I'm just going to add a bunch of crushed ice to it. And I recommend letting it sit for a little bit before drinking it, just because the water does seem to really do something to the flavor that just helps. You're going to need crushed ice? Okay, it's going to be loud.
So I'm waiting for you to stop talking. Next thing crushed ice. We should have had a soundtrack.
Should have had a soundtrack. Oh, that's a good idea.
Next time.
Next time. Sorry, you just get to listen to me talk instead. Yeah, the Ariana's panel for Japan was really, the soundtrack was really a good addition. So yeah, we're just going to have a bunch of crushed ice, really open up that, it fills up the glass too, which is nice, and it's going to open up that flavor a little bit. It actually is a really delicious drink, but if you drink it right away when you make it, it's quite sweet and bourbon heavy, and those flavors do seem to blend together a lot better after you let it sit for a bit. So I don't know if you all can see the kanji logo, maybe not. Maybe not so much. That's kind of there, you can kind of see it.
Oh yeah.
All right.
We got it on the stream.
Yeah, good. So I'm going to put that one aside because I have 5 other drinks anyway.
Yes. Ooh, ah.
Ooh, ah. But yes. Now
sorry, I've been drinking them. Now it's not as pretty.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, the Amity one is mostly gone because it's just very drinkable. This one is a lot more hardcore.
It's also pineapple.
Oh, yes. Also, I have the pineapple master here. So.
Yeah, they have to go back quite a bit.
Yep. I can see that. So yes, this is our lineup. And yeah, I had a lot of fun making these drinks up. Some of them are just straight up cocktails that I found on the internet, like the Ida. Some of them are ones that I altered. I kind of learned how to layer. I swear it has worked much better in practice. I'm sorry it didn't work for you here right now. I could try again since we have time.
It's also worse now because I drank half of it.
It's not worse. It wasn't good before. And what was the other skill I learned for this? I don't remember now. Cheers?
Cheers.
And now I actually, most of the ingredients that we used to make these, I did actually have on hand. I don't know if that's embarrassing or impressive. I had to buy the peach schnapps. I had to buy the curacao. All the other alcohol I pretty much had. Oh, and the creme de cassis.
Cassis, because we've never heard of it before.
But the creme de cassis is just going to be on the list of things to have on hand going forward because this drink is awesome. And I had to buy some of the mixers. Like guava juice is not something I typically have in my fridge.
We actually found, in Alberta at least, we found the Fever Tree ginger beer in a 24-pack at Costco.
At Costco.
Which is amazing.
Yes. It's a little bit expensive if you buy it at the grocery store because they sell it like 4 for $8 or something. But at Costco it was $27 for 24 of them or something like that. So yeah, a significant discount.
The green one is curacao and pineapple juice.
Yes. Curacao being this
very
guy.
Blue curacao.
Very blue.
Bleh.
If you use too much curacao, no amount of pineapple juice will make it green.
We tried to figure out. Oh, maybe that's spoilers. Maybe I shouldn't.
We tried to figure out how to make one of the drinks change colors, but it turns out adding grenadine or curacao just makes everything turn black.
You know what we didn't try? Pea flowers. Maybe next year.
I don't know where to source pea flowers.
Yeah.
Also, they're very gimmicky, and I judge people for using them in everything.
Blue dabba dee dabba die, dabba dee dabba die, dabba dee dabba die.
I don't have another glass like this one, but since this glass didn't work, maybe we should just try a normal glass, and I'll try this layering thing again.
Yeah, you can try it with one of the ones with the wider mouths, where you can put the spoon in deeper.
Still needs more ice.
Mary Kaylin says that you can get pea flowers at tea shops, tea houses.
Well, you can get tea with pea flowers in them, but can you get pea flowers on their own?
Yeah, do you have to pick the pea flowers out by hand?
I don't think I've ever seen pea flowers on their own.
What if you grow your own peas and just take the flowers off?
So for those of you who are not making these along and want some tasting notes, the lily is very alcohol forward, but also sophisticated. So it's not like it's a very sweet alcohol forward. It's not like going to go straight up your nose. You can also make the lily with bourbon if you want something that's a little bit sweeter than the whiskey one. The Amity one is basically a beach drink. So it's pineapple juice and blue curacao. And rum. So yeah, there's not much you can go wrong with there. It's quite sweet. The Ida is sour and gingery, so it's bright and fresh, but also has a lot of fruit notes to it.
And tequila.
Yes, and tequila. So
tequila.
It does have a bit of that tequila bite to it. The King is basically, it's a Manhattan, so it tastes like a Manhattan. It's bourbon forward, but it's sweeter and it has an interesting complexity to the flavor. The King is one like I said, there's something called a peach smash online. I loosely based it on that, but that I didn't want to use actual peaches. Especially, I didn't want to find actual peaches in Calgary in February. That seemed expensive.
Quite.
And then the Luz is just fruit juice, basically. So
delicious fruit juice.
For those of you who weren't with us the whole time, the Luz is a mocktail, so there's quite a bit more lemon in that. I wonder if that was part of the problem. I should go a little easier on the lemon.
And higher on the ginger beer.
Okay, let's try the Luz again, just for fun. Actually, I can use... So what I said about the glass being tall helping, sometimes it doesn't if the liquid is falling too far. Also, don't use too little liquid. I tried to, because I was trying a bunch of different liquids, I tried to make these drinks in much smaller quantities, but the layering does not work at all when you make them in small quantities. Okay, let's see if I can prove that I kind of learned something. or if it's just going to fail on me again and then make me look like a fool, like a liar. There is a picture of drinks that I actually made on the panel thing, and it does have layers, so. It's just the ingredients have performance anxiety, or I have performance anxiety. So yeah, half a cup was about the minimum that I found that I could use in order to get the effect I was looking for. Grenadine, maybe I'll actually measure my grenadine this time, that might help too.
Oh yeah, for people who actually made the drinks, what was your favorite?
Oh, yeah. Did anyone actually follow along? Did anyone make any of them?
Slothbear Jen made all of them.
Oh, sweet. That's impressive.
Dan's favorite was the Blight, the Island de Blight.
Isles de Blight. I should have written the names of the drinks on here too. The Ito one is La Diabla, because I just took El Diablo and made it female. And the King one was something like Doom and Death, because King.
Yeah.
All right, so I might not have enough grenadine.
If you made Ito's too strong, that's just in character.
Yes, yes, for sure. If you made Ito's too strong, that's just acceptable. Particularly if you added too much tequila. The creme de cassis can get a bit overpowering if you added too much creme de cassis, but the tequila is just fine.
So Slothbear Jen also liked the Island de Blight.
It's a hard drink not to like. It's something that you would probably order at an all-inclusive in Mexico.
It's super drinkable.
And to be honest, it's probably how I'm going to use the rest of my giant bottle of Curacao. We tried to buy, one of those sample bottles of Curacao. They didn't come in that size. And then we tried to buy a Mickey of Curacao the way we did with the peach schnapps. And they were sold out. Yeah, they were sold out. So we just got a giant thing of Curacao. And now I'm going to have to figure out what to do with a giant thing of Curacao. This needs to be rinsed as well. When I go that way, I'm going to the sink to rinse out my measuring cups.
Oh, yeah, Kanji's costume con drink used blue Curacao.
Oh, I seem to recall it was bad, though.
I don't remember it at all. I must have consumed much more other
It was not bad. It was very tasty, but it was really sweet, so that's probably why you didn't like it.
It's probably why Lindsay loved it.
It's 100% why Lindsay loved it.
Lindsay, the Isles de Blight will be your favorite of these as well. I'm guessing.
I just said that it was. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So Dart the Dance Boy and Dan the Video Ninja are both bright red, and their names both start with D, and they're both very long, so it's hard to tell them apart in the chat.
Oh, I see. Okay. Acceptable. Let's not add grenadine to that. Okay. I said I was going to go lighter on the lemon juice, so let's just try and go a bit lighter on the lemon juice. Lemon juice and lime juice, by the way, one trick that we have found mostly because of our cocktail obsession over here is that buy them when they're on sale and then juice them, put them in ice cube trays, freeze them, put the ice cubes into a Ziploc bag, and then just pull out a cube of frozen lime or lemon whenever you want to make a cocktail. That way you don't have to worry about... no, there should still be some in there. That way you don't have to worry about having them on hand. We've also tried to do it with mint this year, with the mint from our garden, but I don't think I've tried one yet, so I don't know how well they worked out.
You can show them that. I don't know what the lime ones are.
So these ones are mint and lime. We did that so we could make mojitos, but it turns out neither one of us really wants a mojito in the middle of winter, so we haven't tried them yet. I'm going to use a little bit less ginger beer too.
I get my good ones. You did them too well.
Sorry.
That's good.
Okay, let me double check my recipe. Make sure I haven't done anything wrong.
I guess I should put that. Or I can put them in the Ziploc bag.
It could also be the brand of pineapple juice, because I did have to open a new pineapple juice for this. But
Oh, that's true. It's a different brand. They don't want to last, didn't they?
so that might be part of the issue. Generally speaking, though, we were kind of impressed by how easy it actually was to find juices that would layer, but some of the ones we wanted to layer just refused. So.
Or we're not tasty.
Yeah, like I said, the carrot juice one just wasn't good.
We haven't found a recipe for the carrot juice, and we tried it straight up as it was supposed to be without trying to layer it, and it was still not the greatest.
Yeah, this one's not really layering either. I think the pineapple juice brand that I had before was a bit...
Maybe it was a bit less sweet.
Thicker in consistency. So that helps.
Yeah, this one's 29 grams per cup.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's probably the issue then. Because
whereas the other one was like 24?
It was a lot less. I think it was only 20. Because the guava juice is sweeter. So that's probably part of the problem here.
That one does look a little bit better.
This one's layering a bit better, but you will see on the picture that it was like yellow on top and red on the bottom when I made it the first time.
I think it looks layered through the camera, mostly because of the pot lights we have.
The different lights. It is ombre, but it's not like layered. It's very gradually shifting color. And that's probably because, yeah, we had the Del Monte for both of them before. And so this one's 32 grams of sugar and that one's 29. So there's probably not enough of a differential there for them to layer.
It looks layered. Just saying. 100% looks layered.
Okay, I'm glad.
Like there's white, yellow on the top and red on the bottom, and then
yeah, I think Amy's right though. It might be partially the lighting, but anyway, the layering was more dramatic before because the sugar differentials in the juices was higher. So if you get juices with different levels of sugar, you will find that they layer. Also, if you get a really thick juice, like carrot juice is basically carrot puree, so it's quite thick. So even though it's low in sugar, it will sit on the bottom of the cup. So that helps a little bit. And you can get dramatic layers relatively easily at home. This is what I have learned from doing this.
Yes, Lovecore is also using both Del Monte brand, and it is layering well for them.
I'm so glad. I'm so happy that it's working for you.
Dan tried the Amity drink with orange juice and said that the color was brighter.
Oh, orange instead of pineapple. That kind of makes sense. Yeah. I'm going to eat this cherry. Oh, yes, that's very bright.
Was that the orange juice one?
As Kia was mentioning, this pineapple juice is also a bit more orange than the one that we were using when we made the recipes as well. The Del Monte one, I think, is a bit more yellow, so our color might not have been as bright as it was last time, too. But I'm surprised that the orange juice would be brighter, so that's good to know. You can try it with both people at home and decide which one you think tastes better, and then just drink that. It gets a bit gross looking at the bottom with the grenadine, but that's fine.
Yeah, do not stir in the grenadine. We tried that to see if it would change colors. Not a good idea.
Yeah, it didn't taste good or look good. So yeah, I'm a fan of very alcoholic drinks. So I mean, the Lily is pretty. The Lily's a drink I would make myself on the reg. The Eda's more of a summery drink, but is also delicious. And then the King, how's the King one doing?
Oh, you can make me the King one whenever. I love it.
Oh yeah, those ingredients are starting to blend now. Yeah, the King one. The first time I made it, I was like, oh no. But then I left it for an hour, and I came back to it later. And when I tried it an hour later, I went, oh, this is actually delicious.
The maple syrup was my brainchild.
Yes. So it's a hardcore looking drink that is also very sweet. And King can convince everyone that he's drinking super hardcore bourbon drink. It does kind of still have a whole lot of bourbon in it.
It's still a lot of bourbon.
but it tastes much sweeter than a Manhattan.
Sharing the eat is empty.
So now you guys are all okay. You can drink the king then.
I want more Ida.
We might drink a lot around here in case the cabinet wasn't a clue. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this panel, so I hope you guys enjoyed watching my whole process here. What are you laughing at?
Lindsay says the Ida drink is going to kill me, and now she says I lied. The king drink is killing me.
Killing in what way?
Too strong?
Or too delicious?
The only one that's really strong in flavor is the Lily. Sorry, I should be using its cocktail name.
The
The
king
Overachiever.
doesn't have tequila in it.
No,
Or it shouldn't. Are you doing something wrong over
if
there?
you put tequila in the king, you did it wrong. All of these cocktails have different alcohols in them. Intentionally. I wanted to both give people the opportunity to choose the alcohol they liked best and also create different flavor profiles for every drink. So like I said, I had a lot of fun doing that. I had a lot of fun experimenting with new drinks, partially because it gave me an excuse to drink a bunch of new drinks. So yeah, I hope you guys had as much fun with that as I did, and I hope that you were able to follow along a little bit better than with our first year panel. And like I said, drink responsibly. Give someone your keys if you're drinking all of these, because there's a lot of alcohol between them. The
joys of virtual convention. Most of us are at home.
Come to the next panel after having drunk a few of these, so that the conversation can really go off the rails.
Same time next year.
What should be the theme for next year? I'm gonna need a new theme. I did also have a lot of fun thinking about what drinks I should pair with which characters. So feel free to leave me comments about how you think I did, or what other drinks you have ideas with for these characters.
Oh, should put these back in the fridge there a little bit.
And
sad.
And yeah, give me themes for next year, and I'll start preparing now.
Thank you very much. That was a great panel.
I've been having a lot of fun with it and looking forward to drinking these drinks all day and also all month.
Helper number 3.
Oh, and kitties.
Helping
kitties.
Even more ears.
Thank you to all of our viewers who went out to the grocery store and got the lists that Teri posted and made the drinks along.
Yes.
We have pictures all in the Discord. You should join our Discord if you haven't already joined, and then you can see all the pretty drinks.
And I will go post the recipes for anyone who fell a bit behind. I know I was going pretty fast because I had all the ingredients already measured out. So I will go post those amounts so that you can make your drinks for the next panel.
For the next panel, yes. At 10 o'clock, I'm going to be hosting with some help.
This panel requires alcohol, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's kind of a requirement. It's what to do when your fandom jumps the shark, and we may get political. We may get a little silly.
Scream and cry and drink.
It goes. We are going to be doing it on the Discord. We are not going to be streaming it, in fact, because there may be language that I don't. Anyway, long story short, go hang out in the Discord. If you're only streaming on the Twitch, you can come and see us tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. You can come watch Sunday morning or Saturday morning cartoon shows on Sunday morning. It's a nice early chill way to start a day on a Sunday. And thank you so much. Again, thank you to our sponsor, The Dragon, Anime North, YetiCon, and Amenithon for giving prizes for the Masquerade. And and we're doing this as a fundraiser for the Canadian Mental Health Association. If you follow our Ko-fi link and donate more than $5, you get put into a draw for a custom shirt by the Hodgepodge Pony. And if you donate $10 or more, you get put into that same draw, and you get a cute, adorable little Con sticker, like Con that's hanging out in the corner with us.